Are you a parent who feels like your job never ended, even after your kids grew up? Do you find your adult children constantly leaning on you? Maybe for money, for emotional support, or even for a place to live, to the point where it's starting to drain you? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. The dynamic between parents and adult children can be incredibly tricky to navigate. On one hand, you love them more than anything. On the other hand, you're exhausted. The good news is, you can reclaim your peace, your savings, and your sanity without damaging your relationship. Today, we're going to talk about setting loving boundaries with your adult children. Let's start with a really common scenario. Financial support. It often begins innocently enough. A little help with a car repair, covering rent for just 1 month, or co-signing a loan. But soon, these one-offs can become a regular expectation. You find yourself paying their phone bill, funding their lifestyle, or bailing them out of debt. Before you know it, your own retirement plans are at risk. You might feel guilty saying no, afraid they'll think you don't love them or that you're abandoning them. This feeling is completely normal, but it's also a sign that the dynamic needs to change. Enabling isn't helping. It's often preventing them from learning to stand on their own 2 feet. So, how do you start? The first step is to get honest with yourself. Take a clear-eyed look at your finances. What can you truly afford to give without jeopardizing your own future? This isn't about being selfish. It's about being responsible. You've worked your whole life to build a secure future. You deserve to enjoy it. Once you know your own financial limits, you can communicate them clearly and kindly. This isn't a lecture or a punishment. It's a conversation. You could say something like, "We love you and we want to see you succeed. We've been thinking about our own financial future, and we need to make some changes. From now on, we won't be able to cover your monthly bills, but we'd love to sit down with you and help you create a budget so you can manage them yourself." Notice the tone. It's collaborative, not confrontational. You're shifting from being the bank to being a financial mentor. You're offering support in a new, more empowering way. They might be upset at first, and that's okay. Change is hard, but hold your ground with love. Remind them, and yourself, that your goal is to see them become independent and capable, which is the greatest gift a parent can give. Now, let's talk about another huge area: emotional and time boundaries. Are you the go-to person for every single crisis, big or small? Does your phone blow up with texts and calls at all hours? Do they expect you to drop everything to babysit, run errands, or just listen to them vent for hours on end? Again, while it comes from a place of love and connection, it can become a one-way street where your own needs, time, and emotional energy are completely depleted. You might feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid to say you're busy or that you just do you and have the capacity to deal with another drama right now. This is where the power of a loving no comes in. Setting emotional boundaries is about recognizing that you are not responsible for your adult child's happiness. You can be a supportive listener, but you cannot be their therapist or their sole source of emotional regulation. It is healthy for them to develop their own coping skills and a wider support network of friends, partners, or even professionals. So, how do you say no without sounding harsh? It's all in the delivery. Instead of a flat no, "I can't," try a more gentle approach. For example, if they call in the middle of a crisis and you're exhausted, you could say, "It sounds like you're going through a lot right now, and I really want to hear about it. I'm just in the middle of something and can't give you my full attention. Can I call you back tomorrow morning at 10? This validates their feelings, shows you care, but also respects your own time and energy. You're not rejecting them. You're rescheduling. You're reteaching them that your time is valuable and that you have a life of your own, which is a healthy model for them to see. Another key is to stop being on call 24/7. You don't have to answer every call or text immediately. It's perfectly okay to put your phone on silent and get back to them when you're ready. This small act trains them to understand that you are not an emergency service. For non-urgent matters, they can wait. This encourages them to problem solve on their own first, rather than immediately turning to you. What feels like a crisis to them might be a manageable problem they can solve themselves if given the space to try. What if they live with you? This adds a whole new layer of complexity. The lines between parent and child can get really blurry. It's crucial to establish clear house rules and expectations from the get-go. This isn't about treating them like a teenager, it's about treating them like a roommate or a tenant, which they essentially are. This means having an agreement about contributing to the household, whether it's through rent, paying for utilities, or taking on a significant share of chores. Sit down and write out a simple living agreement. When is rent due? Who is responsible for buying groceries? What are the expectations around cleanliness in common areas? What about overnight guests? Having it all in writing prevents misunderstandings and resentment down the line. It transforms the dynamic from mom and dad will take care of everything to we are all adults sharing a space and we all have responsibilities. It also helps to set a timeline. Is this a temporary arrangement for a few months while they save up for a deposit? Or is it indefinite? Having an end date, or at least regular check-ins to review the situation, creates a sense of purpose and prevents the arrangement from becoming a permanent crutch. Throughout this entire process, one of the hardest things to manage will be your own guilt. You might feel like you're being a bad parent. You might worry that they'll resent you or pull away. This is where you need to be your own cheerleader. Remind yourself why you're doing this. You are not pushing them away. You are empowering them to step into their own adulthood. True love isn't always about saying yes. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to say no, to step back, and to trust that you have raised a capable human being who can handle their own life. Think of it like this. When they were learning to walk, you held their hands, but eventually, you had to let go so they could take their own steps. They probably fell a few times, but that's how they learned to balance. It's the same principle in adulthood. They need to experience the natural consequences of their own choices to learn and grow. If you're always there to catch them, they never develop their own strength. So, let's recap the key strategies. First, get clear on your own limits, both financially and emotionally. Second, communicate those limits with kindness, clarity, and consistency. Frame it as a team effort. Third, practice the art of the loving no. You can be supportive without being a doormat. And finally, manage your own guilt by focusing on the long-term goal, raising a confident, independent adult. This journey won't be easy, and there may be some bumps along the road, but the reward is a healthier, more balanced relationship with your child, built on mutual respect, not dependency. You get to reclaim your own life, and they get the gift of true independence. It's a win-win. Thank you so much for watching today. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with another parent who might need to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe for more content on navigating life and relationships. We'll see you in the next video.